Now we want to break up some random edges. For this, we will measure our geometry. We will use the same settings. We will blur it. Let's just say 50. And fit it. But this time we will fit it with a hard linear ramp. With this ramp, all the edges should be selected that are able to blur. Like this, maybe more. Something like that. Alright, now let's create an attribute WAP to add a noise and multiply our curvature with a turbulent noise. Let's visualize this, turn off the visualizer. We will fit this. We want to create larger patches like that. Now we will compare this value to a parameter we will create and look if it is bigger than when we increase this. We can see, so everything that is bigger than 0, so all the black values will be 0. Every grayscale value will be bigger than 0. Let's just input this. And if it is bigger than 0, no matter how high it is, it will be 1. And if it's not bigger than 0, it will return 0. So 0 and 1. We will create a parameter and call this mask noise. Now we will multiply our current curvature value with this noise. So we multiply a float with an integer. And visualize this. So now if the area here is white and here is over 0, then it will also be over 1 over 0 here. We just masked out these areas, for example. And only where this is also 1. We will also promote frequency and offset. Go out. Now with the mask noise, you can just shift this value. So if it's 1, only small spots will remain. Let's say 0.4. And now this is our new curvature value. We will again blur the curvature, but we don't want it to blur out, but rather to blur in. For this we will use the curvature attribute as a weight attribute. So only, so basically the iterations are multiplied with this weight attribute. So when we blur it now, it will blur inside. Now we will peak this value inside. For this we will use it as place along normal, get a bind with the curvature, position to position, and the amount will be the curvature. But we don't want it to peak out, but rather peak in. Let's make it negative and promote this parameter. Now we will again use the attribute blur to blur the position based on the curvature. So we don't want to blur the whole mesh like this, but blur only where curvature is over 0. So now we just flatted out these areas here. Before, after.